On today's show, realistic and logical positive predictions for the upcoming Phoenix Suns season and why you should cut Mat Ishbia a little bit of slack after hearing Adam Silver's idiotic comments on the NBA becoming increasingly harder to watch. I'll explain. Let's go.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome into Locked On Phoenix Suns. I'm your host, Benjamin Garcia, host of the Ben Garcia Show, mornings on YouTube, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m., and a credentialed Arizona sports media member, and even more specific, a Suns credentialed media member, covering your team, the Phoenix Suns, 365 days out of the year. Thanks for making Locked On Phoenix Suns your first listen here on this beautiful Wednesday or Thursday morning. Don't forget, Locked On Phoenix Suns is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button to do what thousands, dare I say millions of Suns fans have already done. Become an everyday or get locked onto the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Listen, I'm well aware that in my eyes, when I give Suns takes and opinions and predictions, part of me is I don't like being lied to. And I don't think anyone likes to be lied to. That's not my point. But my point is I like to be very real. Oftentimes, my wife will get upset with me because I'll lay out a situation that I think is more realistic than something else, and it can come off as a little negative. But that's not my point. My thoughts on the Phoenix Suns always come out of with love and holding teams accountable. I hate to break it to you guys. Again, this is where kind of that little bit of, blunt honesty is. I'm tired of being a loser. I've been watching this Suns team my entire life. Basketball was my first love. I fell in love with the game. The 7 seconds or less Suns were everything to me. But there's only so much cheerleading I can do. So although I'm a fan just like you, I want to make sure that the Phoenix Suns know if they ever come across this show or people that watch the team that we will not settle for anything less than greatness. And so that's why, I've read the comments. I can come off a little negative sometimes. And it's crazy because oftentimes I say on the show, realistically, like a lot is, I believe this team is going to be more fun and better next year. But because I don't think that they're going to be a playoff team, because I think that's unrealistic expectations and setting the Suns up for failure and then potentially blaming the Suns when they don't reach those unrealistic expectations, I think that's a bad place to be. So if that makes me the bad guy, because I don't think they're going to be 13 games better next year, then, hey, listen, I'm willing to be the bad guy. I want you to come here on this show so when you hear me, you know I'm being honest with you. I'm not blowing smoke or telling you things I don't believe to get you hyped up in the conversation or by golly, just to be my friend. I want to be your friend. Would love to see and meet every single one of you, but I'm really interested as well in being honest. And so I thought of 3 positive Suns predictions that are realistic, logical, and I believe absolutely that will happen. So let's get into a couple of those. And let's start with Devin Booker. And I wanted to lay the groundwork of that so you guys understand where I'm at in the future. Maybe if it does come off, I'm being a little negative. That's not my point. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be Mr. Negative. I don't want to be a Spider-Man villain. What I want to do is come on here and be authentic and honest. And when I praise the team, you know I mean it. And when I go after this team, you know I mean it. And you never have to say to yourself, is he just saying this because he, wants us to tune in? That's not. I'm more interested in holding this team accountable than being a pom-pom waver, although I am a fan just like you guys as well. So let's start with prediction number 1. My first positive prediction, and I think this is pretty clear. I saw a thing the other day, I think it was written by Dwayne Rankin of the Arizona Republic. If I misattributed that, I apologize. But Vasa Micic put out a quote saying that he thought Devin Booker was overshadowed by Kevin Durant. And so more on that in a second. But before I get there, prediction number 1, Devin Booker will go back to being a bona fide top 12 player in the NBA. Meaning next year, when we're talking about the NBA top 100, Devin Booker will be higher up on this list that we have right in front of us. And if you're an audio listener, in the 11, 12, 13, 14 spot, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Tyrese Halliburton, and Anthony Davis in that order. I believe Devin Booker steps back into the conversation of one of the best bona fide number twos in the NBA. Right now, he's on the outskirts. He's at the 18th best spot. And that brings me back to my other, I'm one of those people that, before I get to the Vasa Micic thing, it's so funny because sometimes I'll get called a pom-pom waiver because I think Devin Booker is going to be awesome this year because he's statistically always been awesome, but I think he's going to be even better this year than he was last year. I get called a pom-pom waiver, and then I'm gassing up Devin Booker, and then I'm saying that he can lead you to a championship, when in numerous occasions I've said on this show, he's the best number two in the league. He's not a Batman, but he can be the best Robin, and I wholeheartedly believe that. And I look at his statistics, and I look what he's done the previous 9 years with the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, I think he's going to be better than he was last year. And then the other times I get called negative because I don't think Jalen Green and Devin Booker are for sure going to work out. But I saw Vasa Micic's comments, being quoted saying Devin Booker was overshadowed by Kevin Durant. And my answer to that is, I don't even think Vasa Micic was being malicious in his comments or anything like that. My reaction to that is, yeah, no bleep. This is a PG-rated show, so we'll say, yeah, no crap. Kevin Durant, although someone that is well documented, doesn't like me, doesn't like the show, not a big fan of I've always been consistent. I think he's a top 10 basketball player of all time. And Devin Booker, who I don't think is a top 50 basketball player of all time yet, maybe he is at the end of his career, but if he's not a top 50 basketball player of all time, and Kevin Durant, I think, is a bona fide top 10 basketball player of all time, because I don't think we've ever seen to the likes of what Kevin Durant does, similar to what other players have done. He's a one-of-one specimen, and thus a top 10 player of all time. And when you have a top 10 basketball player on your team, yeah, you're going to be, or a top 10 basketball player of all time, yeah, you're going to be overshadowed. Kevin Durant is a basketball god. Devin Booker is a basketball prophet. There's a clear, difference in those two players. So yeah, absolutely. And that's not Kevin Durant's fault. It's not his fault. He's a basketball wizard. But with Kevin Durant out of the picture, there's going to now be more available to Devin Booker. Meaning he's going to be able to be the first option. He's going to be able to create his own shot and not have to worry about kicking out to KD or kicking out to Bradley Beal, because those guys are just as big as stars as he is. Maybe not Bradley Beal, obviously, but Kevin Durant. And he feels like he's got to feed him because he also has to get his, because Devin Booker is an unselfish basketball player. Devin Booker, although as a one, is not going to lead you to a championship. But he can be a one in the regular season. A lot of players can be a one in the regular season. And so I expect Devin Booker to have shades of his 2021-2020 season, where he finished fifth in MVP voting, and he had 26 points, and he shot 46% from the field, 38% from three, and 86% from the free throw line. Devin Booker is not an elite level three-point shooter. We've been through that. We've talked about that. But he is closer to a 36% three-point shooter than he is a 32% three-point shooter. So I think that goes up a little bit in Devin Booker's favor. I think he shoots the ball from three more effectively this year. I think he shoots 37, 36%, high 35%. And I think from the field, he goes back to being a fringe 50% player from the field. And just so we're, in lockstep here, 2019 to 2024, Devin Booker shot 49%, 48%, 47%, 49%, 49% from the field. Last year, he shot 46%. So a little less efficient with a little less shot attempts too. I expect Devin Booker to be back in that 50, 35, 88 range if we're talking about splits. And I believe this year he averages the most points he ever has in his tenure in the NBA. It just makes sense. If Devin Booker's the best scorer on the team and number 2 is Jalen Green, and then after that, it's a really steep drop off, there's going to be, like, even on that 2021 finals team, Mikal Bridges could hit a 3. Chris Paul could obviously hit a shot. DeAndre Ayton was hitting shots from the elbow, although he drove us insane in the painted area. Booker's going to have more points, and I think he's going to have a little bit more assists this year as well. He had 7.1 this year. I think he probably hovers around that range too, which was fairly high for him. But 3-point percentage, I think, goes up a tick from 33 to 36. I think he shoots about 88% from the field, and I think he goes back to being a 50% from the field, while also averaging 28 points a game this year, which would be his career high. And I think Devin Booker, if the Suns go supernova crazy and make the playoffs, even as a 6 seed, will be in the MVP conversation. He won't win it, but he'll be in the conversation. And even him just keeping this team afloat and doing what he's doing, I believe that is also going to make him an all-star this year. So, prediction number 1, positive prediction number 1, Devin Booker not only goes back to being old Devin Booker from the years prior at 28 years old next year, 29 years old next year, but I think he levels up his game because he's more mature on the court, and because he's going to be the number 1 option with more opportunities coming his way. And I just think as well, he's going to get better with age, not worse in terms of his prime years. Obviously, when you hit 37, 38, you're probably going to be a worse player, obviously. But Devin Booker's game is not predicated on athleticism. It's silky smooth jumpers from the mid-range, and I think that ages really well. So Devin Booker has one of the best seasons, if not the best season of his career, statistically speaking, leading this Suns team to a play-in berth. Okay. Still got 2 more predictions that we're going to do in the next segment. So before we get there, let's take a little bit of a break, but we're going to talk Jordan Knott, Grayson Allen, and we're going to do it next. First, today's show brought to you by my friends over at 5 Hour Energy. Time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. This great ginger and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game, whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day. 5 Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavors you love without ever leaving the green. You know, for myself, guys, I've golfed twice in my life, and both times 5 Hour Energy played a big role. Last year, I told you guys about my fantasy football get-together. We went out of town. We had a whole weekend. All the guys got together. We drafted our teams. Well, the day of the draft, we go golfing. And the night before, we were up till 1. I was gassed. What did I do? That Saturday morning, chugged a 5 Hour Energy, got out on the golf course, had a heck of a time. This year, ran it back, was up till 1 a.m. Friday night, Saturday morning. We got a tee time, guzzled a 5 Hour Energy, and I shot the best I had ever shot on the green. Granted, it was my second time out of 2 times that I've went golfing before. But 5 Hour Energy played a massive role in that. So golf is all about good times and good peoples and good flavors. The great ginger lime flavor of 5 Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the beverage cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rates and entries. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters. And this offer ends Halloween of 2025. Look at me. Positive Ben on the show today. And I've got 2 more positive predictions for you guys. And it's not to be ironic. I want to talk about the positive things, and I don't think I have focused enough on this. So I got 2 other ones. Here's number 2. I believe Jordan Knott is going to be the coach of the future for the Phoenix Suns. I believe he's going to be the coach for the foreseeable future for the Phoenix Suns. Maybe he's not Greg Popovich and he's here for 20 years. I believe after a certain amount of time, and especially if you haven't won a title, your voice just gets old and players tune you out after a while. Sometimes change is necessary. I think after getting rid of Monty Williams and Frank Vogel, who feels like a lifetime ago, and Mike Budenholzer, the Suns went the opposite direction of their last two hires. They were flashy, big name, win the press conference. And they said, no, we're going to go gritty, first-time, hardworking head coach with a slew of references and people that say, hire this guy. I saw some stuff recently about Jordan Knott and, players talking about him being just a basketball savant, drawing up plays in the sand, can't go a conversation 5 minutes without talking about ball. This guy is obsessed. And I also think Jordan Knott is not stupid. He knows how a lot of you think, and maybe to an extent how I could perceive how his hiring was done. He thinks a lot of Suns fans and a lot of people around the league, he got the job because of connections to Michigan State. Although I would be a fool to say that those didn't play probably even a massive role, Jordan Knott has earned his way to be a head coach with the Phoenix Suns. He's earned his job more than Brian Gregory earned his job when he first got it as a GM for the Suns as well. But Ott, I think, is the perfect pairing for a team right now that has a lot to prove. He's trying to prove to everyone that he didn't just get this job because of Michigan State. He got it because of merit and because he's a workaholic. So I think there's a chip on his shoulder to prove to everyone, hey, I can do this thing. As well as taking this band of misfits and guys who were cast aside like Booker, Green, Mark Williams 2 times in the span of 6 months, Dylan Brooks, and say to these guys, hey, no one believes in us. So let's show them why they should. So I believe in Jordan Knott. I think he's going to be a really good head coach for the Suns. And guys, I know sometimes I talk like worrisome about other things on the Suns. If the Suns have the right head coach in place, that's a really big thing. It means things are probably going to go well for the foreseeable future for the Phoenix Suns. So Jordan Knott being the head coach for the Phoenix Suns, I would say for the next half decade, I think that is more likely than any of the other head coaches who have been previously fired in Vogel and Budenholzer would have been. So Jordan Knott, I think he's going to be a very capable head coach. Here's number 3. Remember, I can give some more positive predictions. No issues with that. But I'm going off of the most realistic and logical ones. So let's recap. Devin Booker is going to turn back the clock and be a near or post NBA Finals run Devin Booker, but even better and maybe a little bit more efficient because of his time in the NBA and because he's entering his prime. And I think Jordan Knott is going to be the head coach of the future for the Phoenix Suns. I think he's going to be awesome. Basketball savant, can't stop talking about it. Good references, someone that a lot of people vouch for, including Steve Nash. So for all those reasons, those 2 things, I think it will happen. Number 3, and my final one that I think you can just kind of mark on the calendar, this is going to happen. Not like a, maybe we'll see, whatever, right? RSVP it as a maybe, or we'll let you know later. I think Grayson Allen bounces back this season and is closer to the version he was 2 years ago than he was last season. Let's visit Grayson Allen statistics from 2023, 2024. He shot, dude, this is crazy. He averaged 13.5 points a night, 50% from the field, 49.9% on 9 shots, and 46% from 3, and 87% from the free throw line. Grayson Allen in 2023, 2024 was seen as a plus defender and an elite level sniper shooting the ball. I believe with the new players that are around Grayson Allen, like I don't think he's going to forget how to shoot the basketball. The dude is going to shoot 43, 44% from three. If I told you that was my prediction, stop watching the show because that's nonsense and it's lazy. But Grayson Allen is going to go back to being a complete basketball player, which means now that the Suns have players to stick around him, ultimately, it doesn't matter when he's playing, either starting because he's got a spot start for Jalen Green or because Devin Booker rolls an ankle, or coming off the bench. They can surround him with dudes. Grayson Allen is a 6'4 player. Yeah, obviously he's a little bit stronger now. We talked about yoked Grayson Allen last year, or at least Brendan did as well. But this team has the assets to put around Grayson Allen, meaning they could run Mark Williams and Nick Richards out there. Those are big players, even Kaman Malawach. But defensively as well, Ryan Dunn, Rasheer Fleming, Dylan Brooks, these guys, or these are players that fit around what Grayson Allen does well. They can be the muscle and be smart and kick it out to him for an open three and then not ask him to have to guard the opposing team's second best player like he was doing a lot of the time. Grayson does not have the ability because of his stature to go guard the best player on the opposing team or the athleticism to go guard the best player on the opposing team. But when you stick him around Ryan Dunn, Rasheer Fleming, Dylan Brooks, similarly to Devin Booker, he will then flourish even more. So my point is, last year was not a great roster put around Grayson Allen. They were small. He was injured a bit last year. I think he steps back into the role of being one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA, one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA, and also back into that plus defender that we saw 2 years ago, that when asked to be the third or fourth best defender at a lineup at a time, he flourished in that role. So the three things I think you can bank on: write it in Sharpie, write it in pen. It's going to happen. Devin Booker will be great, even better this year than he was last year, which was a down year for him. Jordan Knott will be the head coach of the future for the Phoenix Suns because the Suns finally stopped going the sexy route and went the better route. They ate their vegetables. They didn't win the press conference, but what they did do was win the team, which would mean Jordan Knott's the head coach for the next couple of seasons. And then finally as well, Grayson Allen will be a shade less version than what he was 2 years ago, which is still an elite three-point shooter, but a much better defender, than he was last year because of the players surrounding him, and so that he doesn't have to go out there and guard the second or first plus player on a night in, night out basis. All right, let's talk about Mat Ishbia again. Listen, you want to be positive? Oh, we're going positive. We're going straight positive here because we've had our issues with Mat Ishbia. But Adam Silver said something really stupid today. And Mat Ishbia continues to go the opposite direction of him. Let's talk about that next. Closing out the show. So I want to make sure I have this up so I get it done. So I get the quote correct. But today, Adam Silver was asked about, fans who can't afford streaming services to watch NBA games, and just the overall accessibility of the NBA. What do you have to say to fans who can't afford to watch these games? And it's a good point. And we'll talk about why the Suns aren't in that same boat. But if you're a fan of whatever team, maybe you have to buy a streaming service. NBA TV is expensive. Hell, cable in itself is expensive. And this was Adam Silver's disastrous response.
Huge amount of our content that people can essentially consume for free. I mean, this is very much a highlights-based sport. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, you name it, any service. The New York Times, for that matter, to the extent that your content is not behind a paid firewall. There's an enormous amount of content out there. YouTube, by another example, that is advertising based that consumers can consume.
Not only did he basically say that you don't need to watch the full games, what does it matter? You can basically Spark Notes it. It was like, it was legitimately like that, where you have a book report due the next day, but if you were like me and there was a thing called Spark Notes back in the day that you could just look up the book that you were supposed to read and, more or less plagiarize what the Spark Notes thing said in 5th grade, 3rd grade, and pretend like you read the book. Adam Silver is basically saying you could do that. He's saying that, what does it matter? You just watch the highlights. You don't got to watch the full thing. What are you doing? So the good parts of our services, those are free. You can just consume those. Meanwhile, the common fan, the common man, you and I suffer. Maybe not myself. I have cable. Luckily, it comes through with my apartment, but even more so than that, as Adam Silver continues to make the NBA more expensive, less accessible, Mat Ishbia, for all his shortcomings and for all his issues constructing a roster and staying out of the way at times, continues to show he is for the common man and the common fan. Mat Ishbia, I'm sure to some extent, is a little money hungry. He is a billionaire. Like, dude's got more money than I'll ever see in my life. So I'm sure he is money hungry to an extent, but not like some of these other owners. As Adam Silver is making it harder for you to watch games, Mat Ishbia said, here, watch the games for free. We'll put it on regular television. Oh, you don't have an antenna? Let us know. We'll go get you an antenna. We'll send you one so you can watch Suns games. We'll make it as easy as we can so you can watch the games for free. And if you need an antenna, we'll send you that as well. And then also he said, he also went the route of making concessions cheaper. If Mat Ishbia never made concessions cheaper, you would have never said a damn thing. You would have said, man, this popcorn's expensive, but it's expensive everywhere. Stadium prices, you're going to pay that. I know we joke about $2 hot dogs or cheap soda prices, but that's a real thing. Mat Ishbia didn't have to do that. So when people talk about Mat Ishbia being an awful owner, let Adam Silver's comments remind you that Mat Ishbia, to this point, is just a bad person is just a bad person to be doing roster construction. He ain't good at that part of the job. But to act like he's not an elite level owner everywhere else outside of the on-court product that I believe at some point he will learn to figure out and potentially stay out of the way a little bit. I even think this year he has put the right people in place to put the right team on the floor. But this is where the Mat Ishbia is a terrible owner. Guys, there's more to owning than just putting a good team on the floor. I would like that too. And that's probably the most important thing in terms of owning and what people care about. But he's upgraded new facilities for the Suns and Mercury. He didn't have to do that. He's made Suns games free. He said if you have a TV that's great and if you have a TV but don't have an antenna, we'll get you one. And you know what? We're also going to make concessions cheaper. That is not nothing. And as Adam Silver continues to put out their stupid comments about, well, you can watch the highlights. That's just as good as the games. Mat Ishbia is saying, no, I know you can watch the highlights, but you want to watch them on TV for free? Oh, you don't have an antenna? Don't worry about it. We'll mail you one. Oh, you want to go to the games? Okay. Let's make food a little bit cheaper so you can enjoy that. Those are not things you have to do. Ishbia continues to do them. Those are real things. So while I'll never subscribe to this idea that he's a terrible owner, that's ridiculous. But what Mat Ishbia has done has made life easier for the common fan. And as Adam Silver continues to make it more difficult, Ishbia goes the other direction. So it is just something to think about when you talk about Ishbia being a garbage owner, because it's just not the case. Sure, the roster construction needs work, and I believe he's putting the right people and culture installed into this team so that it can be better for future years. But even if he doesn't do that, for all intents and purposes, he's got this figured out. He's got this part figured out. And it's why you should appreciate Mat Ishbia maybe more than some Suns fans do. All right, guys, do me a favor. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. Do me a favor. Like, share, subscribe to this show and to this, obviously, video as well. And we're back to 5 days a week. I got one more episode for you guys tomorrow to close out the week, that being Thursday night for Friday morning. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms. For everyone tuning in to the premiere of the show or watching it, thank you so much. And for everyone watching, for myself doing the show, my name is Benjamin Garcia, and I will talk to you guys on Friday morning, Thursday night.